Hey guys, it's Megan. I'm a certified fertility awareness educator, and I wanted to talk to you today about the fact that I recently just finished charting my 100th cycle, and I'm currently on cycle 101. And I just was talking about this recently in my charting circle that I have with my clients, and I was reflecting on it ever since then. Just trying to think about some things that I've really learned from this experience over the past 2 years. I've been charting my cycle consistently since 2016, and 88 of those cycles so far has been used for natural birth control. This whole time I've had zero pregnancies, zero pregnancy scares. Everything has pretty much gone as expected in terms of using it for birth control. But there have been a lot of things that I've learned along the way through experience, through working with my own clients, through observing within the community. But really, I think so much of this just, again, comes from that experiential learning that you have to do when you learn fertility awareness. You know, I always say, like, you can watch YouTube videos, you can read about fertility awareness in textbooks and stuff, and you can do so much to really prepare yourself, but until you actually start charting your cycle in earnest, from a genuine, like, pregnancy avoidance or charting for health perspective, there's just going to be a lot to learn, and I think it's really important to give yourself time and compassion as you go. So having said that, I actually have a little list of 10 things that I was reflecting upon, and even was discussing this with my partner, things that I've learned and that he also was kind of suggesting as well, which I think is so funny because I think it just goes to show how much the partner involvement piece has impacted the way that we talk about this. So I think it's really cool. So first thing is that you can't half-ass fertility awareness charting. You need to chart good data, and you need to follow the rules, and you need to navigate charting with intention. So what I mean by that is it is not going to cut it for birth control if you're using a period prediction app, or if you're using just a simple period tracker app, or if you're using the rhythm method. All three of those things, they're not modern fertility awareness based methods. They all are going off of like predictive algorithms. The other thing is, even if you are charting with a modern fertility awareness based method, again, like, you can't half-ass it. You really need to do your due diligence, because I just think it always boils down to, like, for me at least, like, do you want to chart your cycle and avoid pregnancy successfully, or do things halfway and have a potential unintended pregnancy? And if so, what would then, like think ahead and like ask yourself really and truly, like, what would be the next step if that did occur? You know, what path would you go down if that occurred? Because it is a very real responsibility that you carry yourself and with your partner as you're using fertility awareness. So it's definitely something that requires a lot more attention and intention to navigate with your partner. Anyone can do this with the right support as they're learning, but again, you really need to apply that intention. You can't go off of luck. You can't, just pray and hope that things will magically work out the way that you wish they would. You really need to like do the work and learn how to chart your cervical mucus, how to obtain and interpret LH testing data, how to actually identify a proper temperature shift, and know by heart what those actual rules and criteria are, so that you can actually master this method and learn how to use it properly. And I always also liken it to learning how to like drive a car. Like, you need to put in the work and the training for a few months, or in this case, a few cycles, before you actually go out onto the highway of life, or before you actually use this method for birth control, and before you're relying on it, so that you really feel total confidence and you know for sure what you're doing. The second thing that I've learned is love and patience with your body. and self-compassion. I think for a lot of people when they're first coming into charting, there's so many taboos that we carry with us regarding cervical mucus. A lot of people think that that means you have like an infection or something when it totally doesn't. It means that you just have healthy hormones. Or, regarding like menstrual blood and things like that. So I think that there's a lot of work to be done to unlearn some of those taboos. But I really think that just giving yourself a chance, giving yourself time is really important. Even if for those first several times you're charting or you're finger testing your cervical mucus and you're kind of like, cervical mucus, like what is this? Please, please, please just give yourself time. Chart your cervical mucus, chart your biomarkers, wait and see how your chart will unfold, because you're going to learn so much about yourself and about your body. It will completely be worth it, and I promise you within a few cycles you won't even think twice about checking your cervical mucus. It'll be as natural as like tying your shoes or something, or brushing your teeth. It becomes very easy over time. Hey, it's Megan in real time while I'm editing this video. I'm so sorry if my tone seems anxious during the rest of this video. I was kind of rushing to finish the recording of the video before my phone's memory storage ran out, so that's why my eyebrows look slightly furrowed. Because I was just glancing at the timing on my phone. Okay, that's it, bye. The third thing, and by the way, this is in no particular order, maybe I should have put this first, is to work with an instructor and to chart for at least 3 full cycles before relying on this method if you're serious about avoiding pregnancy. So those who are serious about avoiding pregnancy, that is the primary population of people that I work with, including also like their partners. And I really, really take that responsibility seriously. And I think that you should too, if again, you need to rely on this method for birth control. Like I said, it takes training and knowledge that you need to build over time. If I told you, hey, you have to go out and play a soccer game tomorrow and you need to win, when you've never played soccer in your life, like you won't be able to do that. You need to train, you need to understand the rules of the game, you need to understand strategy, you need to learn how to like literally kick the ball correctly. Like there are so many little sub skills that go into that goal for you to be able to set yourself up to accomplish that goal. And just like learning a new sport, learning how to drive, learning how to tie your shoes, learning these basic life skills, fertility awareness is a life skill that so many of us are just not taught when we're in our teen years. So my hope is that these YouTube videos can get to people who are younger. By the way, please like this video and my other videos if you enjoy them. Liking the videos really helps YouTube to get them out to more people, because YouTube recognizes like, oh, people are engaging with this video. Great, let's show it to more people. And I really think that more people need to know about fertility awareness, at least as an option and at least as an education tool, so they can move forward with understanding their bodies better. Number 4 is the importance of partner involvement and shared mutual responsibility for birth control. So this means really involving your partner in the learning process truly from day one. If you're working with an educator that's certified, walk with your partner through the learning materials that you've been given. So give your partner access to read the books that you've been given. Give your partner access to watch the videos with you, to listen to the audio recordings with you. And if you're comfortable, to even attend the private sessions with you, with your educator when you're doing those one-on-one sessions as part of a course. It is so important. I cannot stress this enough. The clients that I have that bring their partners into the learning from day one, they are able to use the method faster for birth control because they're both on the same page. They're able to use this method with much more confidence because, again, their partner is also receiving the same education as they go. And number 3, it releases the burden off of yourself for you having to be the one to explain all these new concepts to a totally different person. That can be a lot of pressure to place on yourself that you don't need to be placing on yourself. So I invite you to release that pressure from yourself, hand it off to someone else, like me, an educator, and please, please let us do the heavy lifting and just include your partner in the learning, because I promise you, you're just going to be reaping the rewards of that. It breaks so much taboo about the conversation about cervical mucus, about menstrual blood, about talking about sex and boundaries and preferences more openly. It's just very, very important to create a safe emotional space for oneself when navigating navigating fertility awareness. So please involve your partners from the outset, or, as early as you're comfortable involving them, and the earlier the better. Number 5 is environmental consciousness and sustainability. So fertility awareness also, apart from not using synthetic contraceptive drugs that then are being, put back into like the water supply and stuff, you're also, or at least I also learned more about cloth pads. I learned about period underwear, and those two things have brought me so much more comfort, like physical comfort, when it comes to managing my period, and I don't need to go out and buy disposables anymore, so I'm saving money. I just wash my cloth pads that I have, and I can make a whole separate video about cloth pads. I don't want to go into it too deeply right now because it'll take too long. But I assure you, they are just such an incredible option. And I just love that fertility awareness has like connected me to this other way to care about my body and to care about my period. So I absolutely love that. Number 6 is empowerment and body literacy and being prepared for menstruation. So like I said, cloth pads. But also another ritual that I have every cycle is making raspberry leaf tea as I prepare for my period. I always know within like the accuracy of like a day or two every single cycle exactly when my menstruation will arrive. I'm doing this not based on a guess about overall cycle length, but I'm doing it based on around the time that I've ovulated, and once I go into my luteal phase and I start to get my temperature shift, I then count out the number of days that my luteal phase typically is, so I can expect within the accuracy of a day or two when to have menstruation. Doing this allows me to have my cloth pads on hand, whether I'm out and about at work or just at home, to make sure that they're cleaned in time, and to make sure that I prepared a huge batch of raspberry leaf tea before I even start bleeding. Doing this allows me to start to drink the raspberry leaf tea early. This helps to totally prevent cramps. It really mitigates the amount of bleeding that I have and just lessens it overall, way more safely, by the way, than ibuprofen, which has other negative side effects, whereas raspberry leaf tea does not have any side effects. It's very healthy and safe to drink. And it just really helps also to mitigate post-menstrual spotting as well. So that empowerment, and that's just in regard to menstruation, by the way. I could go into so much detail about how body literacy as a concept has impacted my life in other positive ways, but there's no time to get into that right now. So let's move on to number 7, which is there's no side effects with fertility awareness. There's absolutely no side effects. You're not taking a pill or some other form of synthetic contraceptive drug that is leaching the micronutrients that you're taking in, so you're not able to absorb them. There's none of that. There's no impact on gut health. You're just simply returning to your body's natural state, or maybe you're never leaving that natural state if you've never been on hormonal contraceptives like me, and you're just sustaining that. You're taking care of your overall health. This extends to your bone health and preventing osteoporosis risk like you would have with other forms of birth control that impact your bone formation. This impacts breast health. Again, there's an increased breast cancer risk associated with hormonal contraceptives. It also impacts brain health and brain development. There's an associated risk of anxiety and depression and low libido that presents very strongly when someone's taking hormonal contraceptives. There's a strong association with that. There have been large studies on these things in regard to mood and libido and things like that. The micronutrient thing, though, that does apply to every single person. Even if you feel like you don't have side effects with hormonal birth control, that is going on. It is impacting your bone development. It is impacting your gut health. And with this, with fertility awareness, there's none of that. You're literally just optimizing your cycle. You're allowing your body to ovulate naturally and to produce its own natural sex hormones, which is like chef's kiss, like a great thing for your health, especially long term, especially as you go into menopause and beyond for the rest of your life. Number 8 is sexual empowerment and connection with your partner. And again, this is because fertility awareness really requires you to have open communication about your fertile window, your infertile times. Doing this with my partner has been, over the years, such an incredible and empowering thing. As someone who came into my partnership with like a history of like sexual trauma, using fertility awareness allowed me to have the tools and language skills to be able to talk about how to navigate the fertile window, to be able to talk about what I preferred in terms of non-PIV sex or non-penis and vagina sex, which was, you know, a much safer option for me as opposed to withdrawal or condoms or something like that during the fertile window. And it just has allowed such a closer connection where we're on the same page, we're open to talking about these things, and it just is no longer like a scary or taboo subject like it once was for me in the past. Again, this is something that I could make a separate video on. I can't get into it too deeply right now because it would take too much time, but I just can't emphasize enough how much this has changed our dynamic. It's different from when someone is on birth control, because when you're on birth control, you're technically physically safe to have unprotected sex at any time. And in my opinion, having the boundaries to say, okay, actually at this point in the cycle, we need to do non-PIV sex. At this other point in the cycle, now it's safe for unprotected sex. For me, having that ebb and flow of the type of sex that is safe to have at different points in the cycle is super helpful. And I just feel like, again, it promotes that conversation to openly talk about this topic with a lot more comfort and ease and emotional safety, most importantly. Number 9 here is releasing expectations and charting what you see without judgment. We bring, oh boy, so many expectations about our cycles and what our cycles should look like into charting. And believe me, I totally get it. I talk about it all the time, what we look for in like an optimal chart or an optimal cycle. I totally get it. But you need to remember that just because you're not necessarily seeing that exact lineup of optimal biomarkers in your cycle doesn't mean you're unhealthy, doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means that you need to give yourself time and patience and literally just keep it simple, chart what you see as you see it, so that you'll be able to take that data, work with it, understand what's actually going on with your health and your hormones, and to be able to move forward to take better care of yourself as you chart and go through your cycles in the future. So release those expectations. You will not have perfect cycles. You will not have perfect charts every time. You will rarely have a quote unquote perfect chart, and that is okay. What's better and what's a much healthier skill to have is body literacy skills. So rather than expecting your body to behave like a robot that does everything at a certain time, have body literacy skills and cultivate those skills to be able to navigate actually how to work with your body's ebbs and flows. Because believe me, you're always going to be in some state of fluctuating stress. There will always be new lifestyle conditions, new life events impacting you, and you really just want to have those skills to be able to work with your body as opposed to always expecting it to fulfill some sort of expectation that may not be realistic. Okay, number 10 is to let it be easy. Let charting be as easy as possible. Believe me, it's already nuanced enough. You don't need to overcomplicate it further. Let things like LH testing, let it be straightforward. Let it be easy to read the test result, Let charting cervical mucus be easy. Just follow the steps, follow, the rules that are in place. Let the charting rules protect you. They're there for a reason. They've been developed scientifically, spanning decades, spanning multiple types of fertility awareness-based methods. They're there in place to protect you so long as you're following them. So let it be easy, try not to bend the rules, but work with the rules and work with your body. This is something that I always repeat to my clients when I'm working with them, when they have questions. And I absolutely love these questions because it's such a great opportunity to, explain things further, explain things more deeply, and to work through the thought process of how to understand your cycle in new ways than you've ever been challenged to do before. And so once we've done that, we've kind of understood things and stuff, we get more questions, and I just always remind people yes, here's the answer, here's how it's nuanced, and also let it be easy. Like I said, there are enough nuances with it. We don't need to overcomplicate it further. It's all good. Take a deep breath. let it be easy, and chart on. If you are serious about charting your cycle for fertility awareness and natural birth control, it's up to 99.6% effective when learned with a certified educator like myself. I have an online course. I've worked with almost 200 clients over the years. It's something I'm incredibly passionate about, and I would love to work with you. So go ahead, you can schedule a free call with me to talk about all this, to learn about what the course experience is like in the description below and also in the comments below. And I want you to also leave me a comment if you have other ideas for future videos. I want this to also be a dialogue where, we're cultivating that sense of community. I think with YouTube, there's such like a new horizon that's open for the fertility awareness charting community here on YouTube, and I just would love to feel a connection with you guys there and to really hear from you on things like this. So I ask you before you leave, are there anything that you have learned in your own charting, or do you have any questions as you go into charting that I can help with? Leave a comment below, let me know, and I hope you have a great day or night whenever you watch this. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, and we'll talk soon. Bye.